Welcome back. We got sports break today. NBA talk. Vlad Kitajczyk is in the house.
As I've said before, it's great to be here. This is a fantastic place. Amazing.
It's the best place to be. All right, listen. So we just got done talking about the Cavaliers and the Warriors probably in a collision, on a collision course to get to the finals.
Yeah.
And LeBron James was a story in recent times. I will talk about this. About he was criticizing after a couple bad losses. He criticized his general manager, saying that he needed help.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to force a trade. It seemed through the media.
Try to force something. That's for sure.
And a lot of people, including Charles Barkley, were thinking like, really, what more could the Cavaliers do?
Right.
There aren't really any Kevin Durant's lying around. I mean, maybe that's LeBron was like tripping. Because at this point in the season, we see how good the Warriors are, and we know how good the Cavs are. We know who's going to play in the finals.
Right.
We have a good idea.
Right.
Maybe just thinking they're going to lose.
Right.
He's just like trying to do something, maybe force a trade. But really, what was out there? There was the Carmelo rumors that amounted to nothing.
Right.
I mean, could potentially happen before the trade deadline. Who knows?
Yeah.
But my question to you, Vlad, coming here today, is basically Charles Barkley criticized LeBron, telling him to stop it, knock it off, I guess.
Right.
With this criticism of his roster and just play.
Yeah.
Do you think Charles Barkley was justified criticizing LeBron, or does LeBron have his own beef with Cavaliers management that you could see that he has any actual beef with them?
I can't say should have an actual beef. I think it's more what you said about his concern that they're just not as good as as good as the Warriors. That's the bottom line. Why else would he say this? Because he knows that there's nobody in the East that could touch him. I mean, no. So he knows it's going to come down to who they play in the finals, and if it's going to be the Warriors, he has a legit concern that they cannot beat this team. So that's what it comes down to. It's not that he thinks his team is so bad, and I think he likes the guys on his team for the most part. I think he likes Irving, he likes Love, he likes the role players there. He just he knows they're just not going to be good enough this year to beat them, and that's why he went and is trying to force for them to do something even extra, which I don't even know what else they could do. I mean, like you said, there's Carmelo. I think it's more if he wants to try to get Carmelo without giving up Love, so he could hold on to Love and get Carmelo. Or maybe if things go wrong with the Bulls, maybe try to get Dwayne Wade back on his team, I think something like that.
Before I ask you whether Carmelo or Dwayne Wade would actually be a good idea for the Cavs, I'm going to go back 1 second and talk a little bit more about Charles Barkley.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
And how, LeBron, I guess, get your personal opinion, but I like when you talk about the real life stuff, you know, because that's where we really get to know Vlad. The basketball court is cool and everything. But, LeBron came back at Barkley with some pretty personal jabs at him. And it's Barkley's job, I think, to, analyze what's going on in the NBA and what's going on with these players and their press conferences. And then LeBron went after him all personal.
Right.
What do you think of that? Do you think LeBron was kind of in the wrong there, the way he handled that situation? Or was he all right attacking Barkley in the media?
I think he's all right. Well, I say he's wrong, but Barkley has said stuff in the past, not just about LeBron, but other players, that's a little bit below the belt too. He says that he doesn't talk about personal stuff, but he does. He has before. He talks about players and how, what they should be doing and how they're doing this and, they're being, they're doing this. It's stuff that he doesn't know what's going on in the locker room, so he has no idea. But yes, his job is to give an opinion, so he has to give it. That's how, the show gets a lot of ratings of stuff Barkley says, and a lot of videos that are playing on YouTube are stuff Barkley says from inside the NBA. So, of course, he has to say controversial stuff. But did LeBron overreact? Yeah, I mean, the stuff he was saying about Barkley was totally below the belt. I mean, stuff about, some of his, criminal stuff. Well, not criminal, but in the stuff that he threw somebody out the window in a bar fight or something like that, or stuff like that, or that he spit on somebody, and I don't know if it was a game. I don't even know the full history. He must have Googled him pretty thoroughly to get that stuff.
That's what Barkley said.
Right, and I mean, it was below the belt, but I think Charles had a right to say what he said about him being whiny and that it was inappropriate to call out his teammates like that, who are giving their best effort, and they're a great team, and they're the defending champions. But maybe LeBron has a motive as far as like trying to motivate his guys as well. So maybe that was a motivational technique. So obviously both guys were in the right, but both guys were also in the wrong, because Charles in the past has also called out players
maybe
as well.
It's just the way Barkley says things. Like he's very condescending and criticizes so directly that people maybe get a little extra offended at that. But anyways, so that was a funny thing that happened.
Definitely.
I mean, always good when Barkley's bothering people, and it's funny to us. That's why we.
It's great entertainment. It's great. It's probably the best thing that's happened this season. One of the best things, because honestly, it hasn't been that exciting of a season, except for stuff that happens with Barkley and LeBron, and we'll talk about the other stuff that's happened as well. With the Knicks. We'll get to that, but. Yeah, absolutely. It needs some drama, some entertainment, because it hasn't been that exciting of a season for me, and I don't think for a lot of other fans as well. I mean, I would think.
All right. Well, sorry about that, Vlad. Well, let me just ask you real quick before we move on to other topics. There's been these trade rumors about the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And obviously, just sparked by LeBron's insistence on maybe trying to get help.
Yeah.
And one trade rumor that popped up was Carmelo Anthony, who we'll discuss the Knicks more in the next segment.
Yeah.
But Carmelo Anthony to Cavs for Kevin Love, would that help the Cavs in a positive way? You think it would make them a better team?
No. Not if they have to give up Love. If they have to give up Love, it's going to make them worse, because LeBron and Melo on offense kind of do similar things. They both need the ball to be effective. LeBron can obviously pass the ball a lot better, but he needs the ball in his hands to create for his other guys, and Melo needs the ball isolation style on the perimeter. So no, Love is a perfect fit for that team. He's now become a 3-point shooter and like a guy that could possibly rebound shots when he's inside. But no, Melo would make things worse. They would need to keep Love. If they're going to get Melo, they have to figure out a way to keep both. Otherwise, the trade makes no sense.
Well, don't you remember though that Kevin Love was the one getting benched in the NBA Finals last year, and there was points where they were like thinking they don't need him. They're playing better without him. Mm-hmm. Like when he got back from being injured, that they shouldn't even start him. And then LeBron, having Carmelo would be another offensive weapon on that end of the floor. And you really think Carmelo is really just a player that only can isolate and like be effective if he gets the ball in isolation? Like, I don't think that's true. I think he could play on the wing, and LeBron can create for Carmelo, create for someone who has more skill to finish on his own if he has to do a little extra at the end. No,
honestly, I don't. I think LeBron works better with guys that are in the perimeter and stuff like that. He doesn't work. He works better at getting guys the ball that are like 3-point shooters. J.R. Smith, now Kyle Korver. Before there was Deladova and guys like that. Guys that can stretch the floor for him. He's never been great at like getting the ball to other star players in that way. I mean, you don't really see him set up plays that many set up plays for Irving, because it doesn't happen. Usually Irving creates for himself. If you watch the Cavs play, you'll see that Irving creates for himself and not the other way around. LeBron would kick out to shooters, but not to Irving. Rarely does that happen.
I can't believe that. I don't know. I'd have to say that I think having an offensive weapon who can do more than just spot up and shoot has to be a positive thing. Like, I don't think LeBron wants players who can only literally stand there and shoot the ball. Like, if that's one thing they do, that's cool. But, man, it's got to be better to have a guy like, if you get him the ball a little late, at least he could drive down the lane himself and maybe create a shot for LeBron, who's playing off the ball, doing things off the ball. Like, he could probably be a really good player without the ball, too. Maybe Carmelo doesn't have to be such a ball hog if he has LeBron James on his team. And I can't really... I mean, look, Carmelo has been on winning teams on the Olympics. I mean, those are hard games. They're not... I mean, yeah, you have all these players, but he wasn't a ball hog in the Olympic team. He wasn't like he wasn't an isolation player only. I mean, he fit in. I think he did pretty well.
Right, but he didn't actually sacrifice his game there. He was actually one of the guys. He plays well in the Olympics because other guys are willing to do other things while he's able to shoot the ball. Like LeBron's willing to play great defense, or Kobe was willing to play great defense, or Wade was trying to do this, but he still needed to shoot the ball, and he did. But he just played well in the Olympics. So I'll give you that. But I'm not trying to say Kevin Love. Well, first of all, back to the Love for a second. I'm not saying Love that's all he does as far as shooting threes. I just think that's a big part of his game now to make sure he fits in better with the team. He's actually learned to fit in more. It was a struggle the first year and a half or so, but I think he's improved, and I think he's fit in better now with the way LeBron plays and the way Irving plays. And yeah, I mean, he's not just a three-point shooter, but yes, he is on the outside a lot, and that does help the team because it stretches the floor. Because you have two guys that love to isolate and love to play, like to drive and kick, basically. So I don't know. We'll see, but I would not trade Love for Melo because I do not think that will help in the short term or the long term for that franchise. Absolutely not. Don't do that. If you could get both to try to like have a crack at the title, to feel that you might be able to beat the Warriors with those four guys, okay, do it. I mean, I don't know if it will be enough. It might be, but don't trade Love for Melo. That will be a disaster for them. Don't do it.
All right, you heard it here then. If you're listening, Cavaliers GM, don't trade Kevin Love for Carmelo. Vlad says it's a bad idea. It won't give you any better chance to win the title. Okay, that's all for this segment on Sports Break. But we plan to be back later today to talk about the Knicks. That should be interesting and fun. All right.